What is LARPing? By Merriam-Webster's definition, LARP is an acronym for Live Action Roleplay, which means to engage in a live-action role-playing game. But outside of being an acronym, a noun, and a verb, LARPing is so much more than that. It's community. Today I'll be talking about a specific community of the name Thaliondor. Thaliondor is a LARP community made 11 years ago by a man named Nico.
Hi, my name is Nico, and I run Thaliondor.
And I'm Marcy, and I also run Thaliondor.
We've been on the council for the last 10 years.
And during this decade, Nico and Marcy have been pretty busy. About every Sunday, 20 to 50 members of Thaliondor meet up on this very soccer field to turn it into a battlefield. And on Sundays that they're not at this soccer field, the group visits various other places to branch out. Can you tell me a bit about what got you involved in LARPing and inspired you to create Thaliondor?
So I started out, I played a Humans vs. Zombies LARP in college, and I thought it would be a lot more fun with swords as opposed to Nerf guns and stuff like that. So a buddy of mine reached out and asked me if I wanted to start doing this, and I was like, of course. And I've been here every week since. That was 10 years ago.
Started dating at the time, so I was just kind of along for the ride and fell in love with it.
What are some noticeable benefits that you've seen in people who have participated in this community?
LARPing as a whole brings a lot of people together. So people who are usually like stuck in the house with no, I don't want to say no friends, but people who don't get out and do things often will come out to do this. And this is a very active sport. I've seen people who do bodybuilding not be able to fight all day. I've seen people who can run marathons not be able to fight all day because it's its own set of workout. And it, like I said, brings a bunch of different people together every week consecutively.
And there's multiple examples of the connection LARPing brings. Do you see this little lady right here? This is Vix, and she's going to share a story about how LARPing connected her and her dad.
My LARPing journey with Thaliondor started in January. You know, that required me having time off of work and sometimes working with my parents. I was telling them, I can't work Sundays anymore. They go, what the heck are you doing, you know? Especially because every Sunday I'm tied up with this thing and, you know, and I'm enjoying myself and I'm not working. I'm on the phone with them one day, talking more directly to my mom, and I'm telling her about LARP. And my dad, he goes, wait, what are you doing? And he goes, are you whacking people with foam sticks? And I explained it to him again, and he was like, no way, I did that as a kid. I did that with your uncle, my brother. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we used to do it with PVC pipe and pool noodles, which is totally unsafe, by the way. He used to do that, and that was something that he would have never guessed that I would be into. And to be fair, when I was growing up, I didn't know about LARP in that capacity and know how accessible it was in Florida to be able to go. Now, I get to enjoy LARP, and I get to call my dad and talk to him about LARP and whacking people with foam weapons and having spell balls. And he thinks it's crazy and so cool that I'm involved in something at my age that is just like he did when he was growing up. I think it's a wonderful thing that brings people together, and more people like it than you know.
The best part about Thaliondor as a community is the diversity. There's people from all walks of life and all genders. There's kids as young as 13, from middle schoolers to high schoolers to young adults to older adults. And on that note, I got to interview the youngest member of Thaliondor, Bryce.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm 40 years old, or like to go by on the battlefield, Spellweaver. I just recently made level 2 wizard, and one of the youngest members of Thaliondor is my son Bryce.
Hi, I'm Bryce. Level 2 archer, level 3 warrior, and on the battlefield I like to go by Azurion.
Wait, what's a wizard or archer, and what do those levels mean? Well, there are 4 key classes of Thaliondor. There's the wizard who uses spell balls to attack. There's the archer who uses a bow. The cleric who heals.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious heal.
And the warrior. And the levels work that the more you play, the more you get to do, which encourages people to keep coming. Bryce, you're the youngest member of Thaliondor. How is that?
A lot of the people at Thaliondor have helped teach me how to be good at the fighting. My dad has helped me learn how to do this shield bash and stab thing. They've taught me how to fight, how to use the bow and arrow, and they've taught me all this stuff to help me fight. And overall, they're just all a bunch of nice guys.
After about 20 years of service, which is Bryce's whole life, Ryan, you haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with him. You always had video games, but now you've been branching out to LARPing. Has that bonded you two?
Oh, I think so. I think it was back in March is where we found LARPing, and finally after about a month and a half, I looked it up on Facebook, and then we figured out where it was at. We showed up, and immediately as brand new people, they were, letting us being able to battle. Bryce, saw right from the get-go that he wanted to, but I wasn't sure because of how young he was. And there wasn't a lot of young kids out there, but he got out there and took a couple hits right from the get-go.
Bryce, you're a really bright kid. You're extroverted and you're like sunshine in human form. But a lot of kids bullied you regardless. I know that you tried baseball and that didn't go well for you, but how was Thaliondor really connected to you and made you want to keep going?
Well, I was in a really rough patch. I just moved down here and I was away from my best friend. Yeah, I haven't really had any main friends in my life. And I was, really sad. I didn't have much to do in baseball. All the kids ridiculed me because I wasn't good at throwing the ball and all that. But here at LARPing, I just fell in love with it. It just made me feel so included, like all of the people coming in and just helping me. Instead of ridiculing me for not being good. Instead, they came in and taught me how to do this. If I was messing up on something, they demonstrated it. The gals, the guys, all of them, all around, just made my life so much better.
I think in the military, I trained every single day, waking up at 5, 6 in the morning, go and do PT, and you train and do your job every single day for 20 and a half years. And then you kind of lose that and you retire, and it's like, all right, what do I do? Bryce and I would be on the battlefield, getting after it, and then my wife and daughter would be watching from, and we get to talk and be able to hang out. Just like how Bryce was talking about, there's different mentors and different individuals, different classes, and they've really kind of trained you and explain the game to you and how to do strategy and everything that the military has to offer for going against bad guys. We do the same thing at Thaliondor. It's pretty funny going against one another and live action role playing. It's really interesting getting to watch Bryce turn into a really awesome and amazing individual with his mentors out there and his friends, and turn into a real battle-hardened individual out there in just a short amount of time.
Now that we've heard from the son and dad duo, let's move back on to the council.
So a lot of people also come out, and it's a good creative outlet. That's it. I sewed all of his garb. We make a lot of the weapons, the costuming, any kind of storytelling elements. There's tons of ways to be creative in this community, and we all help each other do that.
Have you seen any noticeable growth in people who participate in this community actively, consistently?
So a lot of people, to kind of piggyback off of what I said for the last question, a lot of people have lost a ton of weight and gotten into better shape. Like Paul used to be 300, 350 pounds, and now he's down to 200 pounds because he wanted to get better at the game. So he really focused on his health and became a better person for it.
Also, a lot of people come out here, and because we're all a little bit weird, we're a little bit quirky, a lot of people are able to come out of their shell more, and you have these people who are super introverted, myself included, come out and they're like, oh, there are other people like me. I can just be myself around them, and they just get more confidence in being out here and having fun.
We're all a little off here.
Do you have any stories or examples on how LARPing has positively impacted someone's life?
We actually have a couple people who are very introverted, either homeschooled or just don't fit in at public school, and 2 in particular have come out, and they were very shy and timid at first.
By the God's grace of heaven, I will smite you down in front of
Now
lightning.
they're main characters on the field. It's so phenomenal to see how much they've opened up, and they're involved in the story, and they're involved in fights every week, and just they're them, and it's so nice to see.
So I've had a couple people come to us in the past and say that they were, in a really dark place before coming out here, and that this has given them like a spark back, or given them something to look forward to on a weekly basis. So I could see that these people have a darker history, and looking forward to this game gives them something to look forward to.
How do you ensure that your events are inclusive and welcoming to new people?
So we created a game that blends a lot of different types of games together. So while there are combat-centric games like Belagarth and Dagger here that are more focused on the combat aspect of it, they don't really include the more nerdy persuasion of people. But then there are other games that are more lightest touch, a lot of roleplay elements, very like D&D but outside, that are very complicated to get into and hard for stick jocks like me or somebody who doesn't want to put too much effort into the roleplay, hard to get into those games. So we created a game that was a little bit of both. Like if you're very into the combat, you're going to do great here. If you want to do more roleplay element-centric stuff, if you want to be a wizard or a healer or something like that, you can do those things in our game and have a place and it be a viable class for you to do and have a role to fill.
Also, because it is so inclusive for all different types of play styles, it draws more of a large variety of people. So you do have people who are more introverted as well as more extroverted, and they all just kind of mesh together well because they can all be in their own element at the same time, and it's all very cohesive.
It does help that we're also like super welcoming too. Like I think that one of the biggest things for growing a game, and I guess we'll touch on that in the next question too, but one of the biggest things for growing a game is to be welcoming. Like you're gonna have people come out and they're gonna be awkward and scared and not know, anybody else that's out here. You have to, extend that olive branch and tell them, hey man, come on in, let's play, let's do the thing.
What advice would you give to someone who's trying to get into LARPing for the first time?
Don't be afraid, just come out. It's the hardest part of doing it is getting off the couch, getting into your car, and driving out to the field to do it. Everything here is provided for you. Weapons, water, a field, more people to hit. It doesn't get any easier. All you have to do is come out and give it a swing.
Even if you're nervous and you just want to come out and watch, talk to people, figure out how the game is played before you jump in head first. Like, I came out and just watched for like a solid month before I even played because I was very nervous about it. We have tons of people who are more than willing to teach and show you how to ease into it in case you don't want to just dive right in.
After hearing from Marcy and Nico, I'd like to ask a similar question to Ryan and Bryce. What do you guys have to say to anyone who has a stigma against LARPing?
Well, then why? Don't knock it till you try it. Just go out there and give it a shot.
2 months. I didn't battle with him. He was just out there. I was kind of watching, and I was like, really? Not a lot of people showed up, and he was trying to get me to help him with something, and I was practicing with him, and it's a lot of fun. 20 and a half years, airborne ranger infantry guy, kicking down doors, getting after, jumping out airplanes, and who would have guessed I would be all kitted up, getting to spend some time, with my kids and some friends out there, and having a lot of fun. Get off the couch, go enjoy it. It'll be a blast, no matter what rank you are or what type of class you want to do. There's something for everybody.
You don't even need to roleplay. You can just go out there and fight. In my opinion, it's just such a great community.
It is.
I see you, Spellweaver.
Who goes there?
You know who it is.
Azurion? What are you doing? Why are you firing at me?
Well, you're on the opposite side of a war. You're the enemy.
Alright, you called for it. Hey! We don't have to be on opposite sides. We can just go off on our own. And we'll make this work. What do you think?
Yeah, right.
I missed you, son.
You tip the same here, Spellweaver. Now let's go find you the player.
Alright, let's go.